boldness that you gain after speaking affirmations over yourself. The more you hear it, the more you believe that it's true.
And welcome to Premier Fitness. I'm Gene Williams, your yoga instructor, and I'm here to tell you about the benefits of yoga.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining our show. You have just tuned in to Where is the Love? I am your host. I am Stephanie Hockenhall. Joining me is my co-host, Gene Williams.
What it do, people? What it do?
Hey, son.
How you doing, man? Let's rock. You ready to rock and roll?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get it. Let's make it happen. So, yeah, we are here today to talk about, we're going to be, let's, first I want to tell you where you can watch us from. You can watch us live on YouTube, on Love Misunderstood Institute, or on Premier Fitness 0210. Also, you can watch us on Pod TV, on Roku, and on Amazon Fire. So on those, you search PODTV space live, LIVE, and you can watch us live on Roku and on Amazon Fire. Also, you can watch us on the website right now at podtv.tv. You can watch us. There's so many places you can be watching this live right now. Also, you can watch us live on Facebook. Our Facebook page is Love Misunderstood Institute. Please share your Facebook pages or share your pages wherever you're watching us from. If you can share it. Even though you may not be able to stay here and watch the entire show or the show, share it. Other people may need this information where we talk about bullying versus love. And so also, there are resources available to you. This show is one of the resources, our discussions to help you and give you tools to navigate through bullying. I have written self-published a book, Workplace Bullying. And the name of the book is Trouble on the Inside, What's Going On. So also, I have self-published a workbook. It is Bullied, a Heart Examination as Needed. This workbook was created because so many people say, I don't bully. I've never bullied anyone, or I don't get bullied. So it's just to break down, information to help you understand, that we all do both. We bully and we are bullied. So it's, what do you do when you recognize that that's what you're doing or that that's what you're getting? Also, one more resource. Call 988. That is the suicide hotline, and that is also the mental health hotline. So those are some resources. Son, you want to add anything?
Yeah, we just want to be a blessing to somebody out there. Raise your hands if you need some prayer. Oh.
Y'all already know he gonna come with something crazy.
Every time you get ready for it.
All right, y'all, we have a guest today, and she is an industrial athletic trainer. We are going to bring her on in a little bit, but first, son, you want to recap from the last show and start?
Hallelujah.
Since I've been talking so much, you can recap and then start sharing the information. Gene got us going to church already. That's what Mark said.
You may want to do the recap, and I'll read what we got here.
All right. So to recap from our last show, stress as it relates to bullying was our discussion. So today on our show, we will be giving you some strategies to deal with bullying and or traumatic life events. And so Gene's going to share, and after we have this short little discussion, we're going to bring on our guests. So stay tuned.
All right. So on our show today, we will give you some strategies to deal with bullying and or traumatic life events. Dealing with stress related to bullying can be challenging, but there are several strategies you can use to help release and manage that stress. Remember that seeking support from friends, family, and professionals is important if you're struggling. And here are some techniques to consider. First and foremost, talk about it. Find someone you trust and share your feelings with them. Talking about your experiences and emotions can help alleviate stress and make you feel understood. Number two, seek professional help. If the stress is overwhelming, consider talking to a counselor, therapist, or a psychologist who specializes in dealing with bullying related stress of all sorts. They can provide you with coping strategies and support tailored to your situation. One of my favorites. All right. Sorry, y'all. All right. Practice deep breathing and relaxation. Engage in deep breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation, or guided imagery to calm your mind and reduce stress levels. I'm not going to read that. I saw it. I'm not going to read it. Something we're going to discuss today, and something that I'm a specialist, I would say, in. Engage in physical activity. Regular physical activity such as walking, jogging, or yoga can help release built-up tension and improve your overall mood, and also release those healthy, feel-good hormones and endorphins. Express yourself creatively. I got really country up there also for some reason. Engage in creative activities like writing, drawing, painting, or playing a musical instrument. Yes, Lord. Got my baby right over there. I'm looking at it. These activities can provide an outlet for your emotions and help you process your feelings. Mindfulness and meditation. Practicing mindfulness and meditation can help you stay grounded in the present moment, reduce anxiety, and improve your overall well-being. Limit exposure to triggers. Lord. If possible, try to limit your exposure to the individuals or situations that trigger your stress. This might involve avoiding certain places or people associated with the bullying. And also set strong boundaries from the start. And listen, this is where we stop right here, partner. You can't talk to me like that, cuz. I mean, you want to do what you want to do, what you want to do. Okay. I had a flashback there. It was a trigger. Build a support network. Surround yourself with supportive friends, family members, or online communities that understand what you're going through. Having people who care about you can provide a sense of belonging and reduce feelings of isolation. Focus on self-care. Amen to that one. Engage in activities that promote self-care and self-love. This includes taking relaxing baths, reading books, listening to music, or enjoying a hobby. Practice positive self-talk. Can I get an amen in the back?
Yep. Amen.
All right. All right. Challenge negative thoughts and replace them with positive affirmations. Building a resilient mindset can help you manage stress more effectively. And I do want to kind of jump in. Like, one of the things that life lessons gives us is resilience, especially when you have the tools to help you navigate stressful situations and you use those tools. It's like strengthening the muscle.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the better at it you become. So,
Thank you.
yeah. Like Lil John, yeah. As I said before, set boundaries. Establish clear boundaries with individuals who are causing you stress. And don't be afraid to listen, man. Don't be afraid to point. That's the finger. That's the finger right there. That's the gun. Hey, I told you. This is not cool. Don't call me that. Don't say that to me. This is what it is. You have to be firm on it.
Yep.
If you can recognize and respect those boundaries, then What we do to them? What we do to them? We tell them to go to the left.
Yep.
All right. Again, establish clear boundaries with individuals who are causing you stress. This might involve assertively communicating your limits. um, I just got lost.
Engage in laughter.
And avoiding interactions that are hurtful or negative. All right. So next is engage in laughter and joy. Find something that makes you happy, makes you feel like you can be silly and just be yourself.
Yep.
Seek out activities that make you laugh and express joy.
Yeah.
Laughter can be a powerful stress reliever.
Yes.
Laughter is good medicine. Laughter
Yes.
is good medicine. It releases those feel-good endorphins. Man, it's like, okay, now you're off. You're off to the races. That's the good drug. That's the good drug. Laughter is a good drug. All right. Volunteer or help others. I agree. Volunteering or helping others can shift your focus away from your own stress and provide a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Educate yourself. Learn more about bullying and its effects. Understand
Yes.
the dynamics of bullying can help you process your experiences and find ways to cope.
That's right.
Last but not least, set realistic goals. I tell my clients this all the time. Set small, achievable goals for yourself each day. These accomplishments can help boost your self-esteem and help you feel more in control.
Yeah.
All goals. A lot of people want to start off, I want to lose 50 pounds in a month. Wait a minute. How about 5 in the first week?
Right.
Let's go there. That's more easily attainable.
Yeah.
Jump from 0 to 50, and you get burned out, and now you 100 pounds.
Right.
Increments, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Remember that healing from the effects of bullying takes time.
Yeah.
It's important to prioritize your well-being and seek help if needed. If the stress becomes overwhelming or you experience persistent feelings of sadness, anxiety, or hopelessness, consider reaching out to a mental health professional for guidance and support. Call 988.
It's important to call 988. If you don't have someone that you can talk to and trust, call 988. You don't know them, they don't know you, but you need to talk it out. You need to hear from somebody that can help you and guide you through that time.
Help you get that monkey off your back.
You want
to say.
Thank you, Mark. You want to add something else before we bring on Chelsea?
Let's get in here. Let's have some fun.
All right, y'all. We wanted to share that information with you because it's important. Some of this information that Gene just read is Chelsea is going to cover some of that. Chelsea Nettle is our she is a Mark. She is an industrial athletic trainer. So she will come on and she will share more about herself, and then we're going to have a conversation that will help you as well. So our guest, bring on Chelsea Nettle, please.
Hello.
Hey, Chelsea. You see how Gene clowns.
Lights came on. It was time for action, right? Lights, camera, action.
You always keep having fun.
Right. So we do that a lot. So Chelsea, tell us some things about yourself. Introduce yourself, please.
All right, yeah, my name is Chelsea Nettle. I'm an industrial athletic trainer. So this is fairly new to the industry. You typically hear about athletic trainers in sporting events, the NFL, the NBA, always that person that runs out on the field when someone's hurt. But I actually work in the industrial setting with the aging population. So they're seeing how both of those are parallel together. So it's like, why we can use athletic trainers anywhere.
Right.
So that's where I kind of wandered off. I graduated in 2015 with my bachelor's in athletic training. And then last year, actually, I graduated with my master's in kinesiology, focusing on the aging population. And that was probably the first time in my whole educational career that mental health was actually brought up. And we actually covered a big segment on just mental health in the aging population. So that really set a big, dream of mine is to really get that out there and educate people, and really finding that parallel with athletic training, with physical health and mental health, and how those are very important together. You can't just focus on one side and expect the other to be okay. You have to find balance. And oftentimes, if you're not mentally well, you're not physically well, or if you're not
Right.
physically well, you're mentally well. So actually being able to get out there and really help educate, especially the older generation, is just a big deal to me. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
That's good because we really, as we age, we really need to be able to um, understand more. It seems like the older we get, the less we exercise, the less we do to continue to make ourselves healthy and happy because we're so used to doing certain things. And so letting go of the old is hard to do when you have these old habits. Gene, you want to add something?
No, I love the fact that you specialize in helping the older population because it's absolutely needed. As a trainer as well, I see a lack of focus on overall health. There was a certain mentality that we don't go to therapists, and that was across the board. If you go to a therapist, you're crazy. You know,
Yeah.
I don't exercise. This is my exercise right here, or this.
Yeah.
So it's important to, especially to live a healthy life. You have to, like you said, focus on both the physical and the mental because they work in concert. Like you said, when the mind is out of whack, the body's out of whack, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, Chelsea, share with us some of the things that you do to help the aging population as it relates to mentally and physically, and combining the two. What are some of the things that you do um, with that?
So generally, when people come in and talk to me about injuries that they're having, what I've learned is you really got to kind of be aware of where is their mental state at, how are they doing in general, and then also be aware of how their physical state. Because then sometimes if they're having physical pain, you can kind of see it's like, okay, maybe it is kind of anxiety, or maybe it is something more than just knee pain. It's like, how do you get to that root cause and really get into that root cause instead of just fixing symptoms can be very, very difficult because you only can fix symptoms for so long before you actually crack. So days when people come in, like I said, we look at their mental health, and if they are feeling anxious or they are telling me about events that happened in their life, I will be like, okay, well, maybe go for a walk a little bit. And they go for a walk and they come back and they feel better. And it had nothing to do with the pain that they came in and talked to me about. And it's just weird how the body does that.
Yeah.
So I often tell people, like Gene covered, what does your sleep schedule look like? How do you sleep at home? How are you sleeping? Are you sleeping throughout the night 8 hours? Are you tossing and turning? Are you waking up after a couple hours? Like, what is those routines for you? And that goes into self-care as well. It's just focusing on sleep, because the first time sleep is messed up in any way, then there's concerns that you have to get on top of it. So really just evaluating all of those things instead of just focusing on, oh, what is that knee pain?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, and like you said about your sleeping patterns being interrupted, it's like that's a first symptom of anxiety and stress. Not being processed in a proper fashion. So it begins with the insomnia, and then the other things start to break down. Other chain links in the chain break down.
Yeah, and exactly like you said, anxiety, depression, the same with like bipolar, borderline, schizophrenia. All those comes down to, if you're not sleeping well, then you need to be very, very self-aware and get on top of it before it gets worse.
Right, before it gets on top of you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome.
So, Chelsea, talk to us about mindfulness when it comes to um, physical health and mental health.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even know, I feel like, what mindfulness, because even myself, when I was learning about it in general, I'm like, okay, meditation. So what, like, what do? You just breathe in, breathe out. But focus on the science behind it, which is the way my mind works, is it actually opens up a whole new realm for you. So basically, all mindful is you just want to take your mind, whatever you're focusing on. If you're having anxiety and you constantly have running thoughts, literally bring yourself, ground yourself to the present moment where you're at. And that often has to do with like all your senses. Like, what are you tasting? What are you seeing? What are you smelling? What are you touching? And that just kind of you're kind of like manipulating your brain, I guess, kind of tricking it to just stop what you're doing and just come to reality. So, like I said, people come in with racing thoughts. They don't know how to explain their symptoms. And so it's just like, okay, slow down, breathe. Because a lot of times people do start breathing with their shoulders and they start getting shoulder pain. And it's just like, okay, well, you're stressed at work. That's one of the most stressful places you could be, especially when you're not like coping well. And that could cause like upper respiratory or even muscle pain. And it's just like, okay, well, go relax, breathe with your belly instead of your shoulders. So you're actually getting oxygen circulating through your body faster. And then also, like I said, if you're just breathing like this, then or working on the computer, then you're really going to have a lot of pain. So addressing that as well, and then going into, okay, well, let's stretch, take breaks often. That can really help. But when you put both of those concepts together, it really comes out with a great solution for that person. And it also really helps educate them within their normal life too, because even though this is everything that's happening at work that they're reporting to me, it can help them outside of work too, so that way they can develop healthy coping mechanisms if they are very self-aware that they are breathing with their shoulders instead of their belly. So I really think mindfulness is very, very, very important. And we have to learn that. We just automatically born out of the womb and we're like, oh yeah, we got to breathe like this.
Right.
Because our body automatically goes into fight or flight and we lose all control. So really stopping what you're doing, grounding, seeing where you're at, what lights are around you, who I'm looking at, the colors, it really just brings you to what you're doing now and how can you move forward.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. And like to touch back on what you said about the mind, it's like, and you were doing this and this. It's funny because that's the thing. Like, in yoga, they call it the monkey mind. The mind is jumping around to a million different things at a time, and the anxiety starts to spike. Cortisol levels spike in the body as well. But it's like being aware of what you're actually feeling, what's going on in your mind, and then bringing it together and focusing your mind at basically like a laser point. It's like, okay, I understand this is going on. Being aware, acknowledging the fact that my mind is all over the place, and then bringing yourself back to the present moment, like you said, helps with that laser focus. And the breathing, like you said, when you don't use the upper part, when you're doing this, you're not opening the top part of your lungs. There's 3 levels to the lungs, and usually when you do this a lot, you're not allowing the upper part of your lungs to open up. So yeah, it's more about expanding the diaphragm, the chest, and allowing the belly to fill up the breath, the belly as well, and then bring it back together. And like I said, my shoulders are tired.
And a lot of people don't even notice they're doing it. And then when you actually start talking about it and you bring awareness, because I mean, I do it, or even when people are stressed, they're over here shrugging their shoulders and it's like, relax. And they're just like,
right.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even notice that. So yeah, just being self-aware and just learning how to bring that into your life every day, it will make wonders. Because if you just focus on the pains that you're having, you're going to continuously have those pains.
Right.
So it's like, okay, what else is causing this? So when you hit the whole effect, then you're going to have, some good outcomes. Because I mean, our healthcare is not preventative.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So Chelsea, give us some tips on what to do physical therapy wise to I mean, you just shared the mindfulness part of it, but what are some things that we can do to relax our shoulders other than the mindfulness physically? What can we do because when we're doing this, we're creating stress in the shoulders. And so how can we de-stress from, creating that stress in the shoulders? What shoulder exercises can we do physically?
I would say first off, just focus on your diaphragm. And that's where I brought up belly breathing. Because when you say belly breathing, I feel like that kind of gives a better cue for people and they really start expanding their stomachs, and that really fills the lungs. And so just teaching that first is great, and then go into just stretches in general. So obviously neck stretches, shoulder stretches, and thoracic spine stretches. Do everything, not just that region. Especially, I love a foam roller, because if you just lay on it with the foam roller, so this is my spine, and then you have like the foam roller. Instead of most people have the foam roller like this, if you have it just parallel with the spine and just lay back like that in general, will really open up everything, because when our shoulders are rounded, they become internally rotated, and all those muscles, our head comes forward, and we're just kind of slumped over, and yeah, it doesn't help our shoulders to relax at all. So really just kind of getting into that reverse stretch and just sitting there for 5 minutes is great. Obviously, if your hand starts going numb, then just come back, shake it out. That doesn't mean anything's wrong. But then just go back into that position. That's like the number one that in my go-to for everything, because those aren't things that people do on the daily, especially working in the industrial settings, looking at ergonomics. Everything we do, like we drive with our hands out in front of us, we type with our hands out in front of us, we eat with, we do nothing behind us. So really focusing on just reversing posture in general, especially in the aging population, is the first step to get into. And then afterwards, I would just say get active. And everyone's different, especially for the aging population. I'm not saying go out and start lifting weights or do some crazy yoga moves. Like, do stuff that are within just within your scope, what you can do and what you're comfortable with. If you want to go walk your dog for 30 minutes, go do that. If you want to lift some weights, go do that. There's no right or wrong answer, because I feel like people put so much stress on, oh, go be physically active. And it's just like you put so much pressure, people don't know where to start. But it's like, first off, go do things that you enjoy. Make a hobby out of it. Like, make it a goal every day. Go home when you get off work. Go walk your dog, because you're going to be stressed at work. And I feel like the first thing you should do is just go home and do self-care. Go walk for 30 minutes and then come back. Because when you're doing those exercises, you're releasing serotonin, the endorphins, and all those things just release and bring in good moods and make you feel better in general. So even at work, I say take multiple breaks a day, because if I'm starting to stress out, even for myself having ADHD, it's like, okay, I need to stop focusing on what I'm doing, because I'm not going to regain focus. I just have to get up, go walk for 10 minutes and come back. So I even have to be very self-aware what I need to do. And those are just little things. I don't think there's very like a number one exercise that you have to do to fix everything. I just feel like the most important thing is find things that you like, so you don't get burnt out on it or get overwhelmed by it. Like what you're talking about. You don't want to go and just start your week off saying, yeah, I'm going to lose 100 pounds this week. Find things that are realistic for yourself, and just being very self-aware of what you can do. And then obviously build up into something more healthier, something that you've always wanted to do. Make a goal of it. So even though I do a lot of stuff with people in work, I really help them like find things to do outside of work. So just to be healthy, and so they aren't just kind of burnt out, and then they come back and they're like, well, what you told me is not helping. And I'm like, well, you don't like doing that, so don't do that.
Yeah.
Right. That causes more stress.
Exactly. Right. So I'm like, don't stress yourself out trying to relieve stress.
Yeah.
But I highly, highly recommend the foam roller.
Oh, yes.
So go ahead, Gene.
No, I said I agree 100%. I love the foam roller. Yeah, for releasing the microstatic tissue. Yeah.
So using the foam roller, would you lay down or put it up against the wall, or does it matter?
I would say if you have to modify it and you have to get up against the wall because you can't get on the floor, or you have limited joint mobility, then start on the wall, definitely, and then work your way down to the floor. So like I said, start everything with you can do, and there's a bunch of modifications that you can do, and then the full-blown exercise would be on the floor. So there's just various ways you can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Or even if you're not even on a foam roller, you can just go against the wall with your hands against the wall and really squeezing your shoulder blades for better posture. Even trying to tell people what good posture is, they automatically think, okay, put your shoulders back, chest out, And then
Right.
they just look funky because then, yeah, they just look like they're around with the chest out. I'm like, no, hold that position and then just pull your shoulder blades down and then they go down. And I'm like, that's good posture. And they don't realize it because they're always with their shoulders so tight. So just teaching people to do that and then just going against the wall and holding your shoulder blades back and down, that will help gain so much just good posture in general.
Right. And even the posture that you were just showing, like when people are like, that, and they're actually compressing their lungs, which reduces the ability for the lungs to act like the bellow that they are and open up all the way. So again, that kind of creates more stress and anxiety in the body because you're not able to fully expand your lungs.
And that's
actually the way you did it, like when you put your shoulders together, the chest broadened.
That's why it's like one of my favorite quirks to do. I mean, just that work is just educating on good posture because as soon as I'm like, show me what you think good posture is, and everybody automatically goes
right
back, and I'm just like, and then I finally point it out, and it's just like a good laugh. I mean, and then they never forget it. So that's just one of my favorite things, just to educate in general. And that's another thing that you have to be self-aware about.
Exactly. I was going to ask, so do you think that a person that is stressed out, do you feel like the body is more susceptible to injury in the situation?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, if your mind is not on that task, then there's so many statistics that will come out that accidents will happen. Right. So it's the same thing like with driving. If you're not focusing on driving straight, where the lines are, who's around you, then yeah, there's going to be an accident that's going to happen. If you're like mad and you just storm out the door and you hit a pothole, I mean, that might have been like prevented it, like, yeah, at least prevented if you actually was looking around your surroundings, kind of was calmer, and then you're like, oh, there's a hole right here, step around it. So that's just like a small example of it, but yeah, definitely 100%. And it's the same thing with like athletes in general too. Like if they're stressed out about something and they go out on the field and don't warm up correctly, then yeah, they're going to sprain something. So like I said, it has to come together.
Right. Yeah. And also when you're stressed out, the muscles tend to be extra tight, which is what causes injury. There's a tightness which compacts not only the spine, but it throws the hips out of alignment, the knees out of alignment, things of that nature. And then when you try to do something that's natural to you in that state, injury is like pretty much automatic.
Right. Your body's going to overcompensate, and then it's just bound to happen. So 100%.
Yeah.
So when you, was somebody getting ready to say something?
Go ahead, Mom.
Okay. So when you educate people about basically getting their focus on what they're doing, how is that received by people? I mean, I guess you kind of hit on it by saying, you point out, you ask them a question and then you point out, okay, your shoulders is raised, so basically like calm down.
Right. People don't receive it. I mean, they don't really know anything about it. They don't receive it well, or it's not like they react to it at all. It's just something that they've never really thought about. You think it's common sense when you see it and you're like, duh. But when it's someone actually points it out on you, then it's just it brings more self-awareness. And like I said, people aren't generally thinking about that. And I've had people tell me, they're like, yeah, I was sitting at my desk and like my shoulders were like this for like 2 hours. And I was just super anxious, like nervous for a meeting. And they're like, as soon as I got up and relaxed, like it just changed my mood altogether. So 100%, you just have to bring awareness. And a lot of time with my job, it's just educating.
Yeah.
And just finding ways and how to really get that out there. But I feel like just demonstrating that on them and having them do that, because I can show them like on myself, but if they don't actually do it themselves, then it just doesn't really click for them. It's just in one ear, out the other. They're just reading with their eyes and not really actually like doing the task. So just education, 100% all the way.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gene.
So actually, I was going to say, it's funny that Mark asked that. So what would be like a pre-work stretching routine that you would like suggest for any of your clients?
It just depends on what they do. So I go through a lot of job task analysis and just literally just overanalyze what they do. Like, how often are they using their hands in repetitive tasks? How often are they like literally just hunched over or doing fine pinch stuff? So that really is the first step of it. And that's where we want to focus on. So if we're looking at like an office worker sitting at a desk, yeah, they're going to have their hands out in front of them. They're going to have internal rotation of the shoulder. Their necks are probably going to go forward. So the step after that is just kind of noticing, what they tend to do and what is their lifestyle outside of work. Because I tend to see people that do work out more, go to the gym, they have more of a better posture. So they are sitting up straight. Their shoulders seem to be a little bit more relaxed. Or people that just say sedentary majority of the day are just more kind of slouched over and they're just kind of hunched over. So it's really different per person. But I would just say overall, just posture in general, just getting up, moving your neck back and forth, bringing it back. And like I said, just reverse posture, having your hands back behind your back up against a wall or on a foam roller. Those are things that I start off with, and just really just kind of tell them, okay, every 20 minutes, get up, maybe every 10 minutes if you're starting to hurt. So it's really different for everyone and their background and what they do at home. Or if they're doing a lot of repetitive motion, then take those breaks every 10 minutes. Like, just get out of that posture. You don't have to do anything special. You don't have to do any special stretches. It's just get up from what you're doing now and then come back in 2 minutes. Like, simple as that.
Right.
And people don't really think about it because they're just like, I'm busy at work. I need to get this done. We're on a deadline. And it's just like, take that break, because if you're hurt, what useful are you? Like, you're not going to be any use.
I have found that. Go ahead, Gene.
No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say to add on to that, like, kind of. So what you're saying is, like, basically you would reverse what they're doing. So if they're hunched over all the time, you would basically have them do the opposite. So that because the tendency is to, if you, like you were saying, they're hunched over all the time, then the spine starts to curve that way and the muscles start to form that way. So you would just like have them reverse that movement. And if you're constantly doing things with your hand, hand stretches and even, fine tune things to help strengthen the muscles in your hand. Actually, a lot of people who type a lot have carpal tunnel because their hands are here and their forearm is flexed all the time. So you just reverse that and then strengthen those muscles along your hand and, strengthen the wrist, things of that nature.
Yeah, and just providing a lot of like ergonomic tools too. So we'll just use the office worker is adjustable desk. Obviously, if you're going to be sitting for a long time, let's reverse that. Stand up and work for 20 minutes. Or like the typical keyboards that you see, they have those little kickstands, and it's like, I don't know why they were marketed that way. Like, half the time, if I find them on there, I like rip them off or put them down. So I'm sure I'm not making people happy with that. But why would you want to work with your hands up like this when you just want to naturally work like that? So it's just like adjusting little things like that. And also, if they're standing for a long time, or they sit down for 5 minutes, because your muscles are going to overcompensate in an area that you don't need it to. Or if you're just working with one arm, switch it up and work with the other arm. So it's like literally just balancing the body in the most like healthy ways. Obviously, it's not going to be 100% prevent all, but it's going to prolong. Like I said, I'm not going to say if you're doing a repetitive injury for 20 years, it's not going to cause carpal tunnel, but wouldn't it be better that you get carpal tunnel 15 years from now rather than 2 years from now?
Right.
Yeah.
Playing with your odds a little bit.
Yeah. He just walked up to me and put his head on my lap like, hey, what's up, man? What's up? Give some attention. No, you stay.
So the gentle one is the one that he lets stay, and the wild one he has to say, no, you stay over there.
He'll be all up in the computer snippets.
Bring him on.
So I wanted to say, as it relates to standing for long periods of time or sitting for long periods of time, I wish I had done that years ago, because I knew, I was told that was not a good thing to do. But instead of taking, like you were just saying, 20 minutes, every 20 minutes, getting up, doing something different, that's really helpful. I do that now, but, as it relates to my legs, it's not, didn't serve me right because I didn't do that. Um, working in the healthcare field, standing for long periods of time. And then also, working in the office, sitting for long periods of time. So now, the job that I do, I take more breaks, specifically if we're um, in the other building, they have timers set. So we can work in two different locations. So, well, Chelsea more than that, but in the one location, they have the timer set. Every 20 minutes, we stop and stretch. And we don't do that at the other building. But now that we did that for 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, we worked, at the building that does take breaks. So now we're more apt to, get up and stretch. But for years, I didn't do that. So it hasn't served my legs right. I mean, I have varicose veins as a result of, you know, sitting for too long or standing for too long and doing that for years. And I hate that. I wish I had done myself better, you know. So I
Very, very new concept. Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that perspective in because I think within the past 10 years, it really kind of took off.
yeah, it's important to do that. And I can say that because of what I just shared. So, Chelsea, as it relates to the brain, with the things that you share when it comes to physical therapy and, in different parts of the brain, what parts of the brain can you say are affected the most when it comes to, or Gene, help me, because you know what I'm trying to say.
Um, so you said what part of the brain?
Yeah, what part of the brain is affected when it comes to, I don't really know how to word it, like telling your body, listen, you need to stand up, you need to sit down, you need to do something different. Like, I mean, I know serotonin, does certain things in the body, um, or activates certain parts of the body. So as it relates to, am I making sense? Not really.
I think I understand where you're trying to go. Like basically, what part of the brain responds to stress and injury and things of that nature? What part of the brain basically alerts you to you need to do something to change what you're doing? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
I was like, I don't know the exact parts of the brain, but I was just saying, just bringing in just mental health and considering how your hormones are released and how they create hormones. For an example, like serotonin in general, I think it's like 10% of the serotonin that we create in our body is by the brain. But then we don't really realize there's 70%, the rest is made in the digestive system, and that is through the essential amino acids through like meats and nuts that we eat that help create this. So I just think just overall and just being aware and providing your body with the right nutrients. And I feel like that's a lot of, they tell you eat healthy, it's good for your brain, it's good for your heart, it's just good for you overall. And it's like, okay, yeah, I keep my BMI down, my blood pressure at a good level, but why? Like, why are we really doing this? But then actually just kind of understanding, like, okay, serotonin, it carries from nerve to nerve, and that's what helps promote like our emotions, our moods, our digestive tract. So if we really have that knowledge in general and the motivation to want to be better, and we can feed our brain with the right nutrients, we could be better overall.
That's
And
good.
so that's all like mental health goes into as well, because when our moods are not in a very like a good mood, then our hormones are off balance. And when our hormones are balanced, we are more at a homeostasis. So I think it's just instead of just the brain in general, it would just be more of like a whole body type thing, and just bringing awareness of why we have these hormones, where are they created, how can we bring them up naturally. And like for an example, like when we exercise, the serotonin is released. So just knowing that if I have a better balanced diet that provides with those essential amino acids and what type of diet that I am on. Am I going to eat meat? Am I not going to eat meat? I should really talk to a doctor so that I am having a balanced meal so that my mood is stable and everything else is at homeostasis. I think that would kind of answer
Yeah,
your
Yeah,
question.
it did.
love that answer. Yeah,
Yes.
and like you said, a lot of the immunity of the body is based out of the digestive system. When the digestive system is out of whack, then it causes everything else to be out of whack. So, like the saying is, you are what you eat.
Mm-hmm.
Something I suggest to all my clients, but especially those who have certain neurological issues and things of that nature, I suggest healthy fats, like you said, nuts, avocados, salmon, things of that nature, because it's going to help not only produce, help the body, it's going to encapsulate the bad fat and wash it out of your system, but also you have to think of the neural synapses in the brain like wiring. And you have a wire, you have a coating on it. The healthy fat is that coating that helps basically like um, direct the electricity, which is the okay. Well, are you okay, son? You owe me a while now. What are you doing?
It's
Okay,
like you moving your hands, put them on me, rub me.
all right. I don't know what that was about. But yeah, so it helps again, like kind of wrap the nerves of the brain, and again direct the electricity. Because I mean, a lot of our processes of the body are electrical, and when you're able to have that healthy fat, it helps coat the brain and helps everything run the way it's supposed to, as opposed to haywire. You're taking off the coating, and now the electricity is going all over the place.
Right. It's like, how do we communicate?
Right, exactly.
It takes me back to the memory of the monkey brain you were talking about earlier, just all over the place without the coding.
Right.
So, Chelsea, as it relates to mental health, what can you share with us? When it as it relates to stress, give us some tips on things to do mental health wise, um, to help ourselves.
So, number one is I would just be really self aware. When you get to that point in your life, you'll know exactly what to do. Because self care is a very trendy word. You see memes all the time, you see jokes about it all the time, but it's really a healthy thing that we need to start doing. And it starts by being self aware. Like you can do sleep, exercise, mindfulness, just having a social life. But it's like, what is going to work for you, and just being really self aware of what is going to help you. Try different things, and that will really bring good outcomes for you in general. And then it comes down to sleep. I'm just going to put them. I think sleep is so important. I'm going to reiterate it. Come up with a schedule. Make sure you're at least sleeping 7 hours. And if you're not able to fall asleep, make that appointment with your doctor. That is all about healthcare. Because I know the definition of self care, I mean, was to do anything that you can do on your own without any type of medical professional. And now that it's trendy and it's all over the internet, now they changed the definition. There's an organization, and it is to include medical professionals. Like, know when to go to the doctor. That is number one. Like, know when to go. So if you are stressing and you've tried all these self-care techniques, your sleep is under control, your exercise, you're doing mindfulness, and you do have a social life and none of those things are helping you, make that appointment. Like, those are the most important. And then the other self-care things is just coming up with daily activities, like I was saying earlier, that fits you the most. If you're like, for me, I can't just sit down and read a book. My ADHD is bad, and I'm just gonna be reading with my eyes, actually not retaining the information. So for me, I'd rather get up and walk my dog. So there, I mean, I have tried reading and it doesn't do much. So just try different things to really help reduce stress. And if you are feeling yourself to developing a lot of stress, like at home, with your work life, with your social life, personal life, anything that's going on, know what your triggers are, and like you said, eliminate it. Just get away. Don't respond to the negativities. Don't respond to the bullies. Just take care of yourself and find those things that work for you. Yeah, I could go on a whole like rampage. Yeah, being really self-aware. Like if you are stressed, what are things that you can do to really help decrease that? And you're not going to know if you don't try. You can go to therapy all you want, or take the medicines. You can go through any actions, but if you're not actually being involved with it, it's not going to do anything. So if you are self-aware and you're involved, try things that work for you. If it doesn't work, don't be hard on yourself and find something else. Because health or self-care, all it is just finding things that will help you with your daily life to cope. Because if we're not coping in a great way, that's where people are becoming bullies. That's where people start projecting, or we start getting healthier.
Right. And I love how you linked self-care to self-awareness. A lot of people may not get that. Like, again, you said try different things that work for you to see what works best. And that's the deal. We take the approaches that are popular, and we try to utilize those. And it's like some of us it works for, others it doesn't. So you have to find that tune that works for you. And that comes with self-awareness and trying things, trial and error. So I love how you link those two. That's very important.
And I saw a quote recently. Let's see, I wrote it down. Okay, it says, "There is no self-development without self-awareness."
Hey.
And I think that's 100% like with physical health and mental health. If you're not aware of your surroundings or how you're treating people or how are you coping, how are you projecting, if you're not aware of those things, then a lot of negative things are going to come to you. But if you're very self-aware and you are trying things that fit for you, a lot of positive stuff is going to come your way. So just being self-aware is great, regardless of physical or mental health.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I agree 100%.
So as it relates to stress and bullying and responding to the bully, if you don't find ways to encourage yourself, you will always be stressed out by what the bully is doing. But when you encourage yourself, you find ways to encourage yourself, however that encouragement comes, journaling, reading positive books, whatever that looks like. When you encourage yourself, you're strengthening yourself to be able to speak up and stand up to the bully without lashing out at them or yelling back at them, which gives them fuel to come back at you. Energy to come back at you. And that's not what you want. So you have to find ways to encourage yourself so that you're able to be firm when you respond to them. And then they know, oh, I better back up. So Gene, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I was going to say I love what you said. It's definitely important for us to, like we said before, set firm boundaries and be able to stick to them, because when you don't express yourself about the situation, you tend to house that energy within yourself, which causes mental and emotional and physical stress within you. And then it becomes a big thing, and then you become like a ticking time bomb. And the next thing you know, Johnny is in the building with a gun. So if he had talked about and set firm boundaries beforehand and put the person in check at the start, then that buildup wouldn't have transpired. Right. So it's being aware, and also, like you said, setting firm boundaries and then exercising them as often as you need to. Don't let it pass. You don't have to go off and snap on somebody to get the point across. If you set those firm boundaries and you assert yourself every time that they trespass or cause some kind of trauma, and you check them, then that sets you up to be more self-confident, which relieves stress and gets stress off your shoulders. Again, that's when you're stressed out. When you release it, it's like,
yeah,
I needed to let that one go. Okay. I mean, you're able to sit in your power better when you again assert yourself constantly. Hey, listen, hey, I understand that this is how you operate with other people. However, this does not work for me. And in order for you and I to have a good relationship, I either need you to stop that, or you and I are going to have to part ways. And there was no hollering. I didn't cuss at him. I didn't put him down. Yep. I set firm boundaries, and I was like, oh, I may not want to say that to him.
Right. But you stood your ground, and they understood that that's what you were doing. Right. Yeah. So we are at the end of our show. Gene, you want to share any last encouraging words, or you want Chelsea to go first?
Yeah, I'd love for Chelsea to go first. I know she's got something great.
I just want to reiterate, there are a lot of chronic health issues, like physical health issues, that is associated with chronic, like mental issues that come about. And if we can't find ways to healthy cope, then it could cause respiratory, it could cause diabetes, it could cause heart disease. Right. So it's really get on top of that, especially just kind of reiterate, like the older generations, it was like a shame to even focus on mental health. Yes. So it's just keep that conversation going. If you are seeing someone struggle, just really promote self-care. Like I said, it seems trendy, it seems like a joke, but no, really encourage these things, help them find what they like to do, because we're all in it together. And just because we talk about it doesn't mean we have to deal with things on our own. So just keep the education going.
Thank you. And thank you for being on the show. Gene, you want to add anything?
No, this was a great show. I enjoyed all the information that you imparted. And I feel like it was a great conversation. I feel like those who watch the show will have more tools to healthy cope, like you said, because we can go to drugs, and Lord knows that's not a good thing. Excessive alcohol drinking or whatever. And I also like what you said about stress over time, like the being in the constant state of stress, it causes your heart to beat faster. Also, phrase your nerves, like, you're getting on my nerves, like literally. That's a thing. Literally, my nerves are frayed because of being around a stressful situation. So, being self-aware, setting appointments and time for yourself to de-stress, realizing that you're stressed out, first of all, is a big thing. The first step to healing is acknowledging that you have a problem. And it's to be, and I love what you do. A lot of people don't understand. As trainers, like, we're counselors in a lot of ways. People, in a workout, man, my work was stressful this week and da-da-da. And you see them, like, when they start off with their shoulders up here, and after a workout, they're like, I needed that. Mm-hmm. So in a lot of ways, we get to help people heal, through the activities that we put them through. So again, I salute you as a trainer.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah.
Thank you again. Now, this is the end of our show. Wherever you're watching us right now, you can watch us again next week at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time right here, wherever you're watching from. We send you peace. We send you love. And we say take care. Bye for now. See you later.
Had become a common thing, but I have the faith to move a mountain. As you'll see, won't let you take it from me. No, 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 no. Won't let you take it from me. No, 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 no. Won't let you take it from me. No, 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 no. Won't let you take it from me. No, 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 no. Dark clouds, catastrophes, and self-doubts, but I kept my head when I couldn't see how. My strength and will make me proud. Everything falls into place. Gotta So now just clear sky. Decided to take control of my life. Now I'm not afraid to reach for those heights. Ain't no glass ceilings inside. Take it from me. No, 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 no. Won't let you take it from me. No, 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 no. Won't let you take it from me. No, 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 no. Won't let you take it from me. No, 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 no. Won't let you take it from me. 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 Won't let you take, won't let you take it from me. Won't let you take, won't let you take it from me. Won't let you take, won't let you take it from me. Won't let you take, won't let you take it. Won't let you take, won't let you take it from me. Won't let you take, won't let you take it from me. Won't let you